So today's topic of discussion is chemotherapy of urinary tract infections. So as I told, today's topic is urinary tract infections. What is this urinary tract? What does the urinary system involve? It involves our kidneys, ureters, urinary bladder and urethra. So the urinary tract infections can occur because of the bacteria. When the bacteria enters into the urinary system, it get multiplied and it will cause us the infection. So generally this urinary tract is considered as upper urinary tract and lower urinary tract. So upper urinary tract consists of kidneys and ureters, whereas lower urinary tract contains bladder and urethra. So when the bacteria affects the upper tract, it causes the infections like of the kidney like nephritis, infection or inflammation to the nephrons, kidneys. So this pyelonephritis may cause the symptoms like fever, chills, nausea and vomitings. Whereas the lower tract infections which may affect the urinary bladder or urethra. And the most common symptoms of this will be cystitis. The bladder will be forming the infection or inflammation of the bladder which results in the formation of cyst. And urethra will also develop the infection or inflammation which is called as urethritis. Itis indicates infection or inflammation. So this slide represents upper tract and lower tract with the infections like pyelonephritis, ureters causes urethritis, cystitis for the bladder and urethritis for the urethra. So this slide gives what is the type of infection and what will be the symptoms. So as we have discussed, pyelonephritis which will affect the nephrons of the kidney and the symptoms include upper back, side pain, high fever, shaking, chills, nausea and vomiting. Whereas the bladder, urinary bladder develops cystitis which have pelvic pressure, lower abdominal discomfort, frequent and painful urination and blood in the urine. Whereas urethra will develop urethritis with burning with urination and discharge. What are the risk factors for urinary tract infections? Generally, at the birth, the men will have more prone to these infections. After the newborn age also, after that age also, females will have more chances for this urinary tract infections. So, males, when compared to males, females are more chances of getting these urinary tract infections. And a person with less immune capacity or a person who is having underlying diseases like diabetes or when a female is pregnant, there are more chances of having the urinary tract infections. Whereas in the males, if the prostate is enlarged and there are problems like people are waiting too long to urinate or they are not emptying their bladder completely, so these will be the common symptoms or so the common factors which may have or lead to the development of urinary tract infections. So, what are the common symptoms of UTIs? UTI is nothing but urinary tract infections. A person with UTIs will have frequent urination without the urine output, but there will be burning sensation along with the pain, and urgent need to urinate will be happening. Sometimes the bladder also leaks the urine out, and it will be very smelly. Foul smell will be coming. Urine will be foul smell, and fever, sensation of unwell feeling will be there, and there will be pain in the lower abdominal region. As we have seen in the very first slide that UTIs are caused because of the bacteria, entry of bacteria into the urinary system, it gets multiplied and it causes a disease. So what bacteria is causing these infections? Mostly the gram-negative E. coli is responsible for these infections. So gram-negative bacilli like E. coli, Proteus species, Enterobacter, Pseudomonas and gram-positive cocci like Staphylococcus aureus, Staphylococcus epidermidis, etc. And the viruses, fungi, parasites, all this may develop the urinary tract infections. So, how to identify whether a person is having urinary tract infections? So, all these are certain tests by which we can know whether a person is having urinary tract infection or not. We can have a full blood count test. We can do the culture and sensitivity of the urine, collection of urine sample, urine dipstick. We can identify whether the person is been having the presence of urine bacterial culture in the urine, microscopy or cytometry of the urine, ultrasound or CT scan. A person may develop fever. We can check the creatinine levels, whether the blood cultures, whether any culture is present in the blood. So we can have the all this test done so that we can identify whether the UTI is present or not. So once a person is detected with UTI, what is the treatment you are going to give for that particular patient. So we can use, as we have told that UTIs are because of presence of bacteria. So if we kill the bacteria, that particular UTI also can be treated. So what drugs we are going to use is bacteriostatic agents, bactericidal agents, and urinary antiseptic. So I think you know already the difference between static and cidal, right? Bacteriostatic agents are the one which will stop the activity of the bacteria. Bactericidal agents which will suicidal. So bactericidal agents which are going to kill the bacteria, and urinary antiseptics. In the urinary tract, any septic infections are there which can be used by treated by the antiseptic agents. So bacteriostatic agents include sulfonamides, tetracyclines, nitrofurantoin, bactericidal, cotrimoxazole, ampicillin, aminoglycosides, etc. Urinary antiseptic, nitrofurantoin, nalidixic acid, methenamine, mandylate. All these are the drugs which are used for the treatment of UTIs. The first class of drugs which are used for the treatment of UTIs are bacteriostatic drugs, and the drug is sulfonamides. You have listened this mechanism many times, like sulfonamides, what they are going to do. So the PABA, it gets converted to dihydrofolic acid, which gets converted to tetrahydrofolic acid, which is helping for the purine synthesis and DNA synthesis in the bacteria. So what our sulfonamide drug is doing is, instead of PABA, this sulfonamides interacts with the cycle so that we don't have a formation of dihydrofolic acid, thereby the next steps are prevented. Trimethoprim, cotrimoxazole, sulfonamides, all these three act in the common pathway, and these drugs are used for the treatment of UTIs because they are preventing the growth of the bacteria, thereby they are used for the treatment of UTIs. The next class of drugs are bactericidal drugs, ampicillin, artemisinin are few drugs. So how these drugs are bactericidal, which are going to kill the bacteria. So how they are going to kill the bacteria? These drugs, they act as irreversible inhibitors of the enzyme which is called as transpeptidase. This transpeptidase, it is an enzyme which is essential for the development of cell wall. Without cell wall, the bacteria can't survive. So for the synthesis of this cell wall, we require transpeptidase enzyme. That is, the bacteria requires transpeptidase enzyme. But our drugs, they are preventing this enzyme transpeptidase. Thereby, the bacteria can't make the cell wall and it can't survive. The bacterial cell wall synthesis is been prevented. That is how these drugs are acting. So under bactericidal, next class of drugs are aminoglycosides and fluoroquinolones. Already we have discussed about this in the previous classes. So aminoglycoside antibiotics like gentamicin, amikacin, what they are going to do is they prevent the bacterial protein synthesis. How they are going to prevent the synthesis? They bind to 30S and 50S ribosomal subunits. Thereby they inhibits the translocation of peptidyl tRNA from A site to P site. That is nothing but misreading of mRNA will happen. Because of this misreading, the protein synthesis will not happen. The only you have to remember is the aminoglycoside antibiotics will bind to the 30S and 50S ribosomal subunits. Because of this binding, the mRNA will be misreaded. So because of the misreading of mRNA, the protein synthesis has been prevented. These antibiotics are effective against E. coli, Proteus, and Pseudomonas. They can be given parenterally, but they develop ototoxicity. We have already discussed ototoxicity and renal toxicity. Whereas the fluoroquinolones, how they are going to act, they directly prevent the synthesis of DNA in the bacteria, thereby the bacteria can't survive. These fluoroquinolones can be given by oral route. They are effective against the resistance to beta-lactam and aminoglycoside antibiotics. The other drug is cephalosporins. They prevent the synthesis of the bacterial cell layer, that is peptidoglycan layer of the cell wall is being disturbed. Because of that, the bacteria will be can't survive or it can be killed. It can be used for septicemic infections of the urinary tract. And fosfomycin, it can be used for good gram positive and gram negative, and it can be used for the treatment of uncomplicated UTIs in the woman. It can be prescribed as a single dose for the treatment of pregnant females. Nitrofurantoin and nalidixic acid. Both these drugs inhibit the cellular DNA synthesis, and nitrofurantoin also prevents the synthesis of DNA, RNA, proteins, and also the bacterial Nitroreductase function is also being prevented, and because of which it prevents or inhibits the citric acid cycle. And nitrofurantoin can be rapidly absorbed from GI tract. The concentration will be very high in the urine. It is unsuitable for the renal parenchymal diseases, and it is safe to use during the pregnancy also. Methenamine mandylate. This methenamine mandylate acts by the formation of formaldehyde. This formaldehyde has a capacity to kill or inhibits the bacteria. That is how this drug is going to act. It is usually helpful with the lower pH, because in the pH less than 5.5 only, it has a capacity to get converted to formaldehyde, and this formaldehyde prevents the bacteria. And if you are using larger dose of this drug, it may cause acute inflammation also. And the next drug is phenazopyridine. This phenazopyridine, the exact mechanism is not clear. It is a dye. It exerts analgesic action in the UTIs, because we have seen the common symptom is most abdominal pain will be there in the lower abdominal pain. So this phenazopyridine will decrease the pain, that is, it is used as analgesic. It relieves the burning sensation, dysuria, and the urgency due to cystitis.